got a fancy lock. You gotta have a code to get in. And Berto did an awesome job with the concept of how to install it. He's so smart. So I'm gonna show you guys how it works. So obviously you gotta put a code in, which you guys can't see. Not that I don't trust you, but. And then opens. And we have a little handle right here that he made out of scrap metal, and then to lock it you just turn it over. It's super secure. He actually welded it to the scrap metal that we used for securing the door in one piece. But yeah, I love it. Now we don't have to worry about our door being wide open when we're traveling. And to lock it, you just spin it, and now you gotta put the code in again. Also just wanted to show you guys that Berto installed this analog thermostat that feeds into the coolant line. Our instrument cluster is broken. It says we're going 30 miles per hour when we're parked. It's also reading that we're overheating right now, so just to keep an eye on that, he installed this thermostat so we can make sure that our temperature is good.
Hey, what up, y'all? Hope this camera angle is good. So, editing my cluster fixing video, right? My instrument panel wasn't working. So in this video, I am taking it out of the bus. Let me go ahead and go full screen for y'all. So hopefully you guys can see this. Brightness is all the way up on the iPad, so best of luck. But if you pay attention to this little corner of the screen, maybe you saw it before I interrupted the clip. But right down here, you're going to see, I'm going to push play now. Right there. That is not something you want to happen when you're working on something. So that was a copper line for my temperature sensor that I installed myself, touching against the back side of my fuse box. Normally, a fuse box is got a plastic layer of protectant inside of it and then another plastic box around the back side of it. I'm not sure if that's just Bluebird, they didn't put that into their fuse boxes, or maybe somebody else was in here years ago servicing this fuse box and forgot to put it back together, or decided to not put it back together because it might have been a little difficult for them. Whatever the cause is, I wanted to stop and let you guys know, when you're working near your fuse boxes, take a second to make sure the back of it is protected, because a fuse box, unless your battery is disconnected, a fuse box is live on one side, right? The fuse interrupts the signal when it breaks, but one side of the fuse panel is always live. And so that's what happened here. That metal gauge wire going to my gauge is touching the metal body of the bus as it gets routed back to the engine coolant system. And so that ground came up and touched the positive terminal of one of my fuses. I got really lucky here. I got really lucky that didn't fry out something really important. It ended up being one of the fuses to my brake lights. It actually didn't even break the fuse because it was on the live side of the terminal. And I got lucky. You'll see that I taped it up after this to be a lot safer. Just take a second to see what you guys are dealing with when you start working with electrical. Probably disconnect the battery. I had been in here a couple times and was a little bit more confident than I should have been. Always take the precautions. Save your stuff. Don't burn it out. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of this video. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. Feel free to ask me questions in the comments or whatever you need to figure out. I know I'm not the greatest at covering things from front to back. I kind of just get clips in between. Hope that's good enough for y'all, but like I said, you got any questions, feel free to ask. What's up, y'all? Tonight we're working on our instrument panel, also known as a cluster. For some of you that are having some issues with mile per hour going in and out, or any one of your gauges going in and out, usually it's because these things are so old and the equipment that we're driving is so bouncy. So you start to get loose solder points on little areas like this here. You'll want to see all your connections here are good, and of course your pins all want to be straight and good connections in there as well. Everything looked pretty good to me, but it still doesn't work. So here's my last ditched effort at trying to get our gauges back. So anywhere that was supposed to be soldered from the factory, I am now going ahead and just adding some more solder to that on the two original weld points and on the open third and fourth points, because we want to make sure everything's got a good connection. So if you take your time, you go over all your solder points, you'll see the difference from these to these three. This one's got fresh solder. These are a little loose. So hopefully that helps somebody out there and gets you back to a working cluster, because when these things don't work, you're out there driving blind.
Work. Do something. Because I'm gonna cut the video that just shows that we're in here together and you're doing something.
We're in here together. People know that you're recording.
Yeah, but my face hasn't been in anything.
This angle's not gonna work all the time. Alright, so we have a short somewhere in the signal line to our ignition solenoid. So I've traced that back to this plug. From this plug, it comes out of this body frame and out of this loom. That loom is really well packed. It hasn't been touched in forever. I don't necessarily want to unwrap that just yet. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But something's broken, so we're trying to work around that for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this harness from down here. You guys saw her reaching full shit to me through our little bay window here. Find my red wire on the back of it, trace that to the pin on the front, stick that in there. Usually it'll hold itself. I'm going to pray that it does so that I get a second. This is where I suspect that wire leads. Find the red wire on this plug, probe the front of it. You guys hear that? So my multimeter gives a tone for continuity. That means I have found the other side of this wire.
That's cool.
So here's the funny part. Now I gotta go in there and unwrap this, because our wire is probably being grounded out somewhere in here. We'll come back to you once I get more.
Hi friends. So I wanted to make a quick video inside the car before I go outside because it's loud and the engine is running right now. So, hi.
So the solenoid is good.
The solenoid is good.
Yeah,
the solenoid is good. That's what I was just about to talk about.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
You doing in warm car recording?
Yeah.
It's cold out there, folks.
Anyway, so we've been having some trouble with our instrument cluster and the fan clutch. The fan hasn't been kicking on, so we've been trying to troubleshoot why that might be happening. We thought it was maybe the solenoid. Turns out the solenoid is fine. So I guess back to square one, trying to figure out what's going on with that. Good news is the fan isn't a total necessity right now because it's so cold. So that is something we need to figure out before it gets hot outside, and we've got some months to figure that out before then. But yeah, that's the update for that. So stay tuned.
What's up, y'all? Got some new taillights in. Nice little LED upgrades. Get rid of this old halogen style. It's cool, it looks cool, but I think these look cooler. Got some butyl tape on hand just to seal up any extra holes we got going on back here. We'll go ahead and get started. See you guys in a bit. At this point, we can lose screws. We don't necessarily want to leave those on the floor because those pinch your tires. We can dispose of that.
Damn. Ow! Ow! That was super embarrassing. I just tried to kick out the wrong way and hurt my foot. Alright, we'll get the next side mounted up, go inside and we'll get the wire. Start off by taking this H4 clip off. Double check our harness real quick. We want to look for any kind of burnt wires, any kind of real heavy aging. For one, that's a fire hazard, and for two, who wants to come back in here and fix this more than once? Everything looks pretty copacetic. That would be how she normally plugs it up. Now we got our DRLs. Our DRLs need to be wired into our selective switches, depending how we want them to function. They look so nice already.
Right now, though, I just want to make sure they work, how they look. Let's just catch 2 screws in there real quick. Really want to hold her up for test lighting, but let's give her a little bit of extra security because we don't want to scratch these nice little gems. I think I can reach these from here.
Oh, there it is.
Fortunately, The high beam switch is activated down by your foot, so I'll have to climb in there and try those. But at least I can take a look at them, so you see what the old ones look like.
Yeah, those look really cool.
Alright. Well, as you can see, I get my daytime running light power right off of this Johnny over here. So I'll be able to pull the wire in from right there. Right there. We'll be back in a bit after we do some things. Woo! What's up, y'all? Doing my best to remember to record content for y'all. So right now we're dealing with a leaky water pump. You'll see green antifreeze dripped in places, and our water pump is located up there. That nice silver shiny piece. That's our water pump. Got this compressor here that's doing nothing for us. So we're gonna start off. I already got one bolt out. We got one more 19mm bolt right there and a 14mm bolt right there on the bracket. We're just gonna go ahead and keep on working on that and get this air compressor out of our workspace here so that we can reach up there to that one. Water pump's held in by two 10mm bolts. It's a Cummins 6BT 12 valve engine. Catch on a little bit when I get those bolts out. Quick little plug. Oh, snap on. Alright, I'm wondering if this camera is going to do anything for y'all. I'll record the video and we'll watch it later. See if it does anything for the viewers. But, alright. Got that one on. Okay. Basically right now we're working on getting a bolt with a nut on the other end of it out. I got a wrench holding it on the other side and wedged up against the frame of the body so that doesn't utilize my hand. Sometimes you need a third hand and the body itself will give you that third hand. But just working on the back side of this here. Seems like we're almost there. Let's just check our wrench right quick. Wrench is holding and looking good. I think you guys can see it from over there. Man, these snap-ons with the swivel heads, see how much space I get right here to right here? Almost nothing. But once I got that bolt broken loose, I can put this whole new angle on there. Barely any resistance. Not worried about stripping the nut at this angle because of that swivel up there. It's a beautiful thing, folks. They make tools for all kinds of jobs, and if you got the right tool for the right job, it's a walk in the park. Nothing to be afraid of. You know, I don't really believe that you need to buy Snap-on. I'm a Milwaukee fan myself, but sometimes, like these Snap-on ratchets are great. They got like the minimalist click for space to move. And then this one's got a nice long handle. Almost there, folks. It's about to break free. But yeah, sockets and stuff like that, I mean, if they're made out of vanadium chrome and they're sized right, you know what I mean, Craftsman, even Husky, they make a good socket. They're not going to break on you often. That's for the real heavyweight jobs, and most likely if you're doing a job that heavyweight, it's going to break on you either way, no matter who made it. So there we go. There's the nut that we were having this held up against the body. Pretty much once you go to loosen it, it's going to hit somewhere. As long as you hold that there, it's not going to do this. So if you hold it there and you get the other side loose, your money, you're in the game, son. Oh man, that's a little heavy. And there goes that bolt. And a nice spacer in between. And like that, our compressor is loose. There's 2 bolts on a bracket, and then that little one. I'll just work on getting this guy out. I've already cut these hoses because I removed the other 25 feet of them from the backside of this bus the other day. Not that that's going to make my job any easier here. There should be some sort of electrical connected to this pump as well. So we'll find that in a sec. Right now we got to find that angle. We'll probably just come forward with it. See if we get the rest of these hoses up. Although we showed up today with no tools. We emptied out the Subaru yesterday. Took all my tools out, put them in the garage. Getting ready to go to the Subaru dealer and sell the car, or at least get an appraisal so we can schedule when to come drop it off in a day or two once we get this water pump sealed up. And a couple more test drives. A little stress drive is what I call them sometimes, because I'm gonna beat on that motor a little bit, get it real nice and hot, and try and get it to squirt some water. If it's leaking, I'm gonna find it. But simultaneously, we're doing this to fix all the water leaks. We've already replaced some hoses that were bad. Replaced the thermostat last month. That one wasn't opening up. And then anytime you get a new vehicle, changing out the thermostat and refreshing all your liquids is a solid plan of attack. Right. I'd say the most detrimental parts of your entire build are your cooling system and having clean oil in there. If you're lacking on either one of those two, you're setting yourself up for a major failure, or should I say catastrophic failure. But if your cooling system's in check and all your oil levels are up to par, filters are clean, well shit, you'll be looking good then. So finally I could delete this little red cable. This little red cable is connected to my compressor. It's been running in the weird places. I haven't cut it and pulled it out yet because I'm trying to figure out what it does. Well, here we are, folks. As you delete things that you don't need on the bus, you'll learn what wires you don't need. So cut it, but don't lose it, because you're going to start pulling this out later. Also, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. A little soap and water has always gotten everything on out, including dirt on my phone as I pick y'all up. Alright, so now you can see we've got this huge old workspace here. All of this just opened up. And I'm never, check it out, that's my turbo. I'm never going to be putting that compressor back in here because we deleted those systems. But I could already touch the first bolt to the water pump, and the other one's opposite of it. We'll get this belt out of the way, change out this water pump, and she'll stop leaking. I'm excited about that, folks. This is your alternator. This is your electronic fan clutch. Some of y'all might have a heat coiled fan clutch. Mine doesn't stay in contact until electronic signal from the computer tells it to engage. This is my crank main pulley. Some motors will have a dampener pushing on this to help pull down all the cavitation or vibrations that a motor has. And yeah, and that really opened up a good amount of space. Not to mention all the weight. All the weight this thing's got on it. Oh, that's nice. I got a second one over there that I'm gonna pull out, just because you know, every inch of weight you could shed is a little bit more towards your gas mileage. We'll catch y'all later, folks. Let me get some more done. So here's what we pulled out of her. This metal ring, this has been sitting out in the rain a couple days now and rust is starting to hit, but this metal ring was in here spinning with this, and I don't got two hands, but I got a lot of shaft play on this. This was definitely what was leaking. Glad we changed her out. There was an OEM one in there. Of course, we put an OEM one back. Here's the part number for y'all. That's a 1997 Bluebird 6BT 12 valve Cummins